I don't know what that is. It's something out there, like a plane or something.
Okay, we are live here. Hello and welcome to the MMA Live Chat Show. I'm Rich Davie and it's Wednesday, August 27th, 2014. On today's show, we'll be discussing the UFC 177 Dillashaw versus Barao 2 event. We'll give our predictions for the main card and maybe we'll do our final thoughts segment and talk about some other breaking MMA news as well. On today's show, we have yours truly and Dan Gazelle. Thanks for taking another show, buddy. I appreciate you taking time to be here and joining me to discuss the UFC 177 Dillashaw versus Barao 2 event, and for taking the time to give your predictions as well as discuss some other current MMA news if we have time. Go ahead and say hello to anybody that might be listening, buddy.
How's it going, Rich? Thanks for having me. Hello, everybody that's going to watch us.
Okay, let's jump into things right away here. The UFC 177 Dillashaw versus Barao 2 event takes place Saturday, August 30th, 2014 at the Sleep Train Arena in Sacramento, California, and will be airing on pay-per-view at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time with 4 prelim fights on Fox Sports 1 at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, and 1 prelim fight airing on the Fight Pass subscription service at 7:30 p.m. All right, personally, I don't think this immediate matchup, rematch actually, between Dillashaw and Barao is warranted, with the beatdown that Dillashaw put on Barao. I mean, basically it was just a one-sided beatdown, and I don't know, but here we are. We're getting ready to discuss the rematch in the event. What do you think about that, buddy? I mean, do you think that?
I mean, I see where Dan White's coming from. He was on like a 30-something fight winning streak, and he could have had a bad night. Like I said, I don't think Barao ever was in that fight. He never looked like he was into that fight, even during the announcements. It just didn't look like Barao. So I'm glad he is getting the rematch. Hopefully we're gonna see the actual Barao come in and fight this time. Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is you think that actual win by Dillashaw last time was a fluke. I mean, I also.
It wasn't a fluke. It was. Dillashaw definitely had the best fight of his career, of his life, that night. But Dillashaw's lost to Dodson and Asuncao. So, he's already got 2 losses in his career. And then the way he fought against Barao, it was an amazing fight, but I just don't think that TJ Dillashaw is a fighter that's going to go in there and hold the belt for a long time, which a lot of his fans obviously think that he will, but I don't see it. I mean,
okay, so what do you think here? You think in this fight here, Dillashaw is not going to be able to do it again, or he is going to do it again, or what?
I'm not gonna doubt him, but I think Barao. I don't know. It's hard to say, man. If Barao actually comes in looking like he did last time, where like he's not even interested in the fight or whatever, I think TJ can do it. But I think Barao's too good to get beat twice in a row.
No, yeah, you got to also think too. Like you're saying there. I mean, he was a champ for a while, and he had that huge run in front of him, and he's got to be feeling the pressure. He's got to be a little bit embarrassed about the way things transpired in that last matchup. But I don't know, man. I mean, it was what, 3 months ago where they had that fight. Do you think in 3 months he turned things around? I mean, plenty of time for him to go ahead and adjust to the errors that were made in that fight there.
The one punch is really what took him out of the fight for the rest of the fight. So, I mean, as long as he isn't tagged good by Dillashaw, then, like I said, man, he never looked like he was into that fight.
Yeah, I agree. Once he took that big shot and he went down, it was like, what the fuck was that hit me,
Well, even before that, too, he didn't. If you watch Barao's fights, he comes in and he's an animal. Fucking, I mean, he comes in and he starts going for takedowns. He's striking. He's doing all this stuff, and he wasn't doing any of that in the fight with Dillashaw. I mean, it didn't even look like the same fighter. You know, if you've got Fight Pass or anybody's got Fight Pass, watch Barao's fights. He does not the fight with T.J. Dillashaw. He did not look anything like he did in all of his previous fights that I've seen of him.
Coming into this one here, T.J. Dillashaw is 10-2, and Renan Barao is 32-2 and 1 no contest. So, yeah, when you look at those numbers like we did last time when we did the show there, I mean, nobody really thought that T.J. Dillashaw actually had a shot, and he shocked the hell out of everybody with that performance. I mean, that was just incredible. So, what do you think here? What do you think here? What's your call for this fight, and how do you think it's going to unfold, and who's going to be the winner?
Really, I'm thinking, God, it's so hard. I mean, if Barao doesn't knock him out, or TKO him or sub him, if it goes to a decision, I mean, the way the judging is with the champ, it's possible that TJ could win it. But I'm gonna go with Barao by TKO and 2.
TKO and 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of struggled with this one too here, because everything that we mentioned in the last show where we did this back at 173, I believe it was, everything about these two fighters is pretty much still the same. All of the numbers and critical stats indicate that Barao will come out on top, with the exception of the beatdown that Dillashaw delivered to Barao last time out. I mean, odds makers have Dillashaw as a slight favorite this time around, but realistically, the odds indicate that this one's going to be a flip of a coin, basically. But fans are disagreeing. I mean, now fans have all of a sudden jumped on the Dillashaw bandwagon, and they see Dillashaw coming out with the win, in a pretty impressive fashion this time around. I mean, most of them are probably thinking it's going to be a decision like it was last time. And, normally I would go with Barao for the win, using that criteria that, I mentioned here. But I don't know. I didn't see anything in the matchup between, Dillashaw and Barao at UFC 173 that made me think that Barao will fare, any better in the rematch. So I'm going to go the opposite way, my friend. I'm going to go with Dillashaw by decision. So one of us will be right and one of us will be wrong.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't even throwing leg kicks or anything like he normally does. I mean, it just, I don't know, man. It's something about that fight really.
And there was never really any follow-up news behind that. He never came out and said anything as to why he, lost the fight.
One of his trainers or something had said that he had been suffering from the flu the week before. That was reported somewhere. I'm not sure the validity of that. He never said that. I believe he just said he had a poor performance and said sorry to his fans. I personally, I think that something was up with Barao. That fight, that he looked completely different from any of his other fights I've seen him fight. It did not look like the same fighter in there. He looked very hesitant, and I don't know why he would even be scared of T.J. Dillashaw when the dude's a monster. I mean, when you put out Michael McDonald and guys like that, Cub Swanson, you're not a chump. And the way he fought against T.J. Dillashaw, it looked like he was very tentative, and I don't understand that.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying there. I mean, I too believe that there must have been something behind the scenes that wasn't mentioned as to why, he performed or didn't perform that night. But yeah, he just did not look the same, and I don't think anybody thinks Renan Barao's a chump.
Wineland, not Cub Swanson.
What's that?
Wineland. I said Cub Swanson. I meant Wineland.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens here. I mean, you know, they're actually touting this one here as T.J. Dillashaw's validation fight. So if he
Yeah.
does win this, it'll be pretty impressive, no doubt. And he'll probably have a whole slew of new fans on his bandwagon because, you know, when I went out and I did the research today on this, it looks like a lot of fans have now jumped onto his bandwagon. And if he wins this one, he'll have even more fans on his bandwagon because last time nobody, I mean, very few, not nobody, but, you know, very few people were giving him, you know, even a bit of a glimmer to, you know, come out on top and get the win in that one. But it is what it is, and, you know, we'll see this Saturday what happens. Any other comments on that one before we move on?
Nah, just like I said, man, it just, yeah, TJ Dillashaw has shown he is human. Obviously, Barao has too.
Yeah, he's
Now,
only got 2 wins in a row now, and didn't he have, I can't recall what his streak was prior to that.
he had, I mean, he had been fighting guys that, other than Dodson and the Ultimate Fighter and Rafael Assunção, which both of those he lost to. The only guy that was in the top 15 was Mike Easton. So I mean, he's been, the guys he's been fighting are not big name fighters, and you know, I don't see TJ really, other than if he fights like he fought Barao that fight. I don't see him being this long holding title holder like a lot of people keep saying. It just, you know, it makes no sense to me when they're saying that, and he's already got 2 losses on his record. He's no GSP, you know.
Yeah, those are all valid, you know, points and arguments there. So yeah, I do see everything you're talking. I just pulled up his fight record, and yeah, I mean, when you look at the names that, you know, he's been up against there, not a whole lot of names that make you go, wow. And
Exactly.
he did lose to John Dotson as well back at the Ultimate Fighter 14 finale as well, but that was back in, you know, 2011.
Yeah, that was round 1 KO, TKO. You know,
Yeah.
it's possible that Barao could do that. I mean, I think Barao just did not look like Barao in that fight.
Well, I think we all can pretty much agree that he's going to need to come out, and he's not only going to want to, but he's going to need to make a statement to show that, you know, that was a fluke. I hate to use that term fluke because, you know, T.J. Dillashaw put it on, you know, but for lack of a better way to describe it, you know, if it turns out that the fight is a one-sided beatdown the other way this time, it's like, you know, how do you reconcile that, you know?
Yeah,
Do you say that, yeah, there probably was something happening, and, you know, do we then say, okay, T.J. Dillashaw had an issue this time? You know what I mean?
exactly. I mean, if you look at the fights that Barao has had, the dude is a beast.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And,
let's move on to the next.
Him, I just don't see him getting owned by any one person like that. Where people are saying, oh yeah, you know, Barao got a beat down. It's like, well, Barao was pretty much out of it from the first, yeah. But to me, he never looked into the fight.
I agree. I thought really, you know, he didn't look really into the fight as he normally does, but man, as soon as he took that big shot and went to the ground, he just kind of looked up and said, whoa. You know, and he kind of knew at that point there. I mean, you could see the look in his eyes that he kind of thought that, you know, the whole thing is over from here. But let's move on to the next one. This is kind of like an odd pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's a horrible pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at the fighters that they have on here and the way that they're ranked and everything, it's like, you know, for instance, the next fight up here, Danny Castillo versus Tony Ferguson, the number 27 ranked lightweight fighter versus the number 28 ranked lightweight fighter. You know, Castillo 17-6, Ferguson 15-3. But I mean, is that really deserving, that fight, of the co-main event status?
No, that's the thing. You know, is
on a pay-per-view. You know,
yeah,
maybe on another card, but on a pay-per-view, man.
It's not, but um, UFC 176 getting nixed like it did, or whatever. Uh, really threw this one threw a lot of fights off, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, it did. I mean, there was all kinds of shakeups from that. But like I said, this is a bit of an odd matchup here, to have as a, co-main event on a pay-per-view card.
yeah, it is. I mean, I don't see this pay-per-view selling very well. I don't think the Barao versus Dillashaw fight is big enough to sell it. I mean, if you look at UFC 178, that that is one hell of a stacked card. I don't know how or why they didn't put a couple of those fights on this card. I mean, you've got Johnson versus Chris Curtis or whatever for the flyweight title. You got Cerrone versus Alvarez, Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor, Tim Kennedy versus Yoel Romero, and
Yeah,
Shigano coming
we spoke
back.
about that on, I don't know if it was the last show or the show before that, but yeah, we spoke about that. When you look at that card, you go, wow.
Yeah, and how you can go from this card to that card makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, this is not the best of cards, but how do you see this particular fight unfolding? Castillo versus
I like
Ferguson.
Ferguson. I've always liked Ferguson. I've liked him since the Tough Show
Yeah.
that he was on. I'm gonna go with him by a round 2 TKO.
Yeah, he is a pretty bad dude, and he can punch, pretty heavy there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give my breakdown here for you as well. Even though I don't think this matchup is deserving as a pay-per-view co-main event, it should be an interesting fight. Ferguson is the favorite by both odds makers and fans. Ferguson has a 3-inch reach advantage in height, a 5-inch reach advantage overall, along with the advantage in age as well. Ferguson is also 5 years younger than Castillo, which typically favors the fighter, with such a difference in age. I don't know, but Castillo is training out of Team Alpha Male, so that's kind of, something that makes you, think twice about, picking somebody that's going to be a quick and easy winner. But I don't know, man. Looking at the overall numbers and the stats as they are, I think I am going to go with Ferguson by KO and 2 as well. You say KO or TKO?
TKO.
Yeah.
I mean, we score them both the same way. I'm
Right.
with that.
Yeah, but I think, I think I'm going to go that way there, because the only thing I really see here that, is a critical factor is the Team Alpha Male thing. When I was looking at, all the indicators that might decide who the winner would be, or might make you think who the winner would be. Any other comments on that one before we move on?
No. Other than, no, I'm glad to see Ferguson again.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, Ferguson. Is he in any sort of trouble or anything like that? I don't recall exactly what his record was, but he had... no, he's on a 2-fight win streak to beat Mike Rio and Katsunori Kuno. Yeah, Michael Johnson was his last loss, and that was back in 2012. So he's not fighting very often, once a year. This will be his second fight in 2014, but
Yeah, he must have been getting hurt or something.
Not very active.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he's I don't know. He's one of the tough alumni. Yeah, he's not getting any younger, so I don't know why he's only getting like one fight a year.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. We have ladies fighting on this card as well. Shayna Baszler versus Beth Correia, the number 16 ranked bantamweight fighter versus the number 10 UFC ranked bantamweight. Baszler is 15-8 coming into this, and Correia is 8-0. And you might think that Shayna Baszler, with her 15-8 record, has the experience to get the win over Beth Correia, who has an 8-0 record, as I mentioned just a moment ago. But I'm not so sure that'll be the case. What are you thinking about this matchup, buddy?
I don't know. I like Correia. She lives up to her nickname, Pitbull. I think she is going to grind out for the decision. Shayna Baszler, she doesn't look bad, but you know, she's what on a 3-fight losing skid. So, I mean, well, being in the division she kind of isn't necessarily a must win.
Has she fought in the UFC? Because when I go to Sherdog and I look at her record, it's only showing me her last fight as Invicta FC4 as far as versus Hyatt. Has she fought in the UFC other than Tough?
No, not that I've seen. She's fought Justino and Elite XC, Kaufman and Strikeforce and McMahon and Invicta. So, but she's fought at least 2 that are in the UFC.
Yeah.
She hasn't fought since 2012 with showing, so but.
Yeah, so you're going with Correia by decision, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. She's 88% of her fights are by decision.
Yeah, yeah. You know, as I mentioned earlier, there, you'd think that Baszler's experience would give her a massive edge in this matchup. She's clearly fought much better talent overall, and more experienced fighters as well, and a number, you know, of more experienced fighters. You know, she has wins over Julie Kedzie, Roxanne Modafferi, and Alexis Davis. You know, but we're talking those wins were, you know, over 4.5 years ago now. But she's lost to Alexis Davis in her last non-exhibition bout at the Invicta FC4 Spurs versus Hyatt event back in January of 2013, as I mentioned a couple of seconds ago there. After winning a spot to get into the Tough House, you know, she was the favorite on the show there, or one of the favorites to win the show there. And then after that fight, she looked less than impressive in her showing against the somewhat newcomer and underdog Juliana Pena, who entered into the tough competition riding a 2-fight losing streak. You know, to be fair though, you know, to Baszler, Pena did wind up winning the competition to become the Tough 18 champ. So it's kind of interesting and difficult to pick an easy winner in this one as well. Odds makers seem to think the same way. I mean, fans, you know, think overwhelmingly that Correia is going to get the win in this one, but odds makers are looking at this one as basically, you know, a flip of the coin as well. And even though Baszler has the height and the reach advantage along with the more experience, I too am going to go with Correia by decision there. I mean, I am just not impressed with Shayna Baszler from what I've seen from the Tough show. I don't recall the girl that she fought to get into the house there, but she did get a submission, as I recall. But she just, I don't know, man. She just doesn't look, you know, impressive to me. I mean, the way that she looked on the show, it seemed like she was just not really just going through the motions, but she didn't have her heart in it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the Tough 18?
No, I didn't really get to. I didn't really watch that one.
Yeah, it was kind of
Tough is getting. I didn't even watch the last Tough. They need to breathe some new life into it somehow. This next one I'll definitely try and catch because
definitely
it's gonna crown a champ. So
it's gonna be an awesome season. I mean, look at all the talent on that one. But let's not get off on that.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know, but you know, like I was saying, in that Tough 18 season there, I was kind of shocked that she did as poorly as she did. I mean, when you go back and you look at Shayna Baszler's record there, you know, she's 1 win and 2 losses in her last 3. Her last win was back in October of 2012, and Sarah Diallo. She lost to Alexis Davis in her last fight. She lost to Sarah McMahon back in 2012 as well. And then when you look, you know, she also, like I said, she has that win over Alexis Davis, but that was back in 2010. So, you know, going back 4.5 years ago, do you really count those those wins when Alexis Davis, I believe, has been looking pretty damn good as of late, no?
Yeah, except for, I think it was her last fight.
Well, she kind of got, I thought she was ripped off in that one. I thought she actually won that one. Oh, no, that was the fight. No, that was the fight with Ronda Rousey. Who the hell am I thinking? Oh, I was thinking of the other girl, Lauren Murphy.
Yeah.
She actually got some love even with the loss, Lauren Murphy. She's up to the
Oh yeah, she
number
showed
15.
heart. I mean, for real, guard is supposed to be a neutral position pretty much because either fighter can be can uh, can do damage from that. You know, rope submissions or whatever. She outlanded her almost 3-1 on strike. So wasn't the best decision. Wasn't the best performance by either. Well, it was a great performance by Baszler, not bad, but I can't think of her name. You just said it.
Alexis.
Moving on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Alexis Davis is no slouch. I mean, she's got some, pretty good names on her resume there and wins over those names as well. So it'll be interesting, but yeah, I'm going to say that more than likely, and I believe with Shayna Baszler, she's probably, well, I don't know, maybe because she's one of the 4 horsewomen, she'll be granted some slack, but I don't see her winning this one, and that would make her, 2 losses in a row, not, in the UFC when you count the tough fight, but if you look at the first tough fight and to get into the house, that would make her, 1 and 2 in the UFC, but I don't know, man. She's going to have some pressure on her. She's definitely going to win this, and I also see talk about her. Talking about going to WWE as well. I don't know if you follow any of the chatter about that kind of stuff there, but I see her mentioning that she's got aspirations, or fans of hers and other people are saying that she has aspirations to go to WWE.
More power to her.
Yeah. All right, any more comments on that one before we move on?
No.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, man. We've got Carlos Diego Ferreira versus Ramsey Nijem, the number 60 ranked lightweight fighter versus the number 38 ranked lightweight fighter. And Carlos Diego Ferreira is 10-0, and Ramsey Nijem is 9-4. And this is another odd matchup to put on a pay-per-view card on a main card.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about this one?
Like you said, I mean, this card just looks horrible. I can't even believe they're billing it as a pay-per-view.
I can't believe it either. I mean, sure, if it was on, Fight Pass, no problem, or if it was on, Fox Sports 1 or Fox Sports 2, it wouldn't be an issue, but
yeah,
they really expect people to shell out $60 for this card?
Exactly. I mean, it could be a good card, but when you're going
yeah, but when you're looking at a whole series of fighters that aren't even ranked in the top 15,
exactly.
Like,
yeah. It just makes no sense. I mean, yeah, 176 messed up a lot of shit, but you don't put this kind of a card out and try and charge people $60 for it.
Yeah, this is almost along the lines of a Bellator boner.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was seeing somebody on Twitter. It said he had gotten free tickets to this pay-per-view, and even he feels bad.
So how do you think this one is going to go here? How do you see it unfolding?
I'm actually I'm thinking Ferreira is actually going to come out on top. Ramsey Nijem does have two fights on a 2-fight winning streak, but I think this Ferreira guy, he looked good against Colton Smith, but who doesn't, But
yeah, he's the one that actually caused Colton Smith to get his pink slip, isn't
he? Yeah, I think Colton Smith was the reason why he got the pink slip. But I definitely I think Ferreira is definitely a game opponent. He'll be in there striking, and I look for him to probably get I believe I believe he's going to get a decision, but you could see a sub out of this guy.
So you're going with decision or sub?
Yeah, I'm going to go with decision.
Okay, here's my very brief breakdown of this one here. Most of the numbers favor Nijem in this matchup, with the exception of the two fighters' records. And with the exception of the oddsmakers having Ferreira as the favorite, and fans are strongly favoring Ferreira as well. So, yeah, I was thinking along the same lines as you, either Ferreira by decision or sub, but I went ahead and I went with Ferreira by sub and 2. So, yeah, we're both thinking along the same lines there. Okay, let's move on to the next one there. Not a whole lot to talk about on that one there. Let's go to Damon Jackson versus Yancy Medeiros, the unranked lightweight versus the number 55 ranked lightweight. And again, you know, another wacky bout to put on the main card of the pay-per-view event. Damon Jackson 9-0, Yancy Medeiros 9-2. What do you think about this one?
It's another one. Like, what the fuck, you know? I haven't seen Damon Jackson fight.
We're not really selling this pay-per-view, are we?
No, I mean, is there a reason to? I
No,
mean,
there isn't. There really isn't, other than the main event.
Yeah, exactly. Yancy Medeiros is, what? He's a 3-fight losing streak or something. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe this Damon Jackson guy might actually be good enough. And I like him because he went to Missouri Valley College. So he's,
You like the hometown boy.
Yeah, he's at hometown. He's at Texas. He's from Oklahoma, fighting Texas, but he went to Missouri Valley College. I think they're serving him up a win. So I'm gonna go with Damon Jackson. TKO in 1.
In 1?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think they're serving Yancy Medeiros up the loss.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you along the lines of the way things are being set up for him here. We've got two fighters with very similar records. Both fighters are 26 years old. And even though Jackson is an inch taller, Medeiros has a 4-inch reach advantage. Oddsmakers basically have this one as a flip of the coin as well, but fans seem to highly favor Jackson. So I am going to go with Jackson as well, but I'm picking him by sub and 2. Any comments on my pick?
No. Yeah. I've seen this guy Jackson fight. Yeah. They don't even have. They've got his 9-0 record, but they don't have very much about. He's got the 67% sub, 11% decision. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
this
could
is
be right. You could be right about the sub.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. No.
This is a must-win for Medeiros. I mean, he's definitely on the chopping block here. No doubt he's got both feet on the platform if he loses this one.
Yeah, I actually think I'll skip. I'll go with the submission as well, but round 1. I think it's gonna be round 1 finish.
Well, I had an influence on you, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, let me change that. Yeah, I was looking at it too. I was going, is it going to be round 1 or is it going to be round 2? Because when I was looking at things with Damon Jackson, I really don't even know who this fella is. You know, I've never seen him fight before, but he's got that submission arm triangle win over Leonard Garcia in round 1 in 1:32, and then the fight before that, a submission rear naked choke in round 2 at 3:24. Fight before that, submission by arm triangle choke in round 2, 4:12. You know. So that kind of led me to believe, okay, even though I don't know a whole lot of fighters that he's fought here, he looks to be pretty bad on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's just this card though. I'm just. I can't wait to see the numbers. Hopefully it's not in Florida or whatever. I don't think they got that law passed yet.
No, I don't think they did either. All right, and okay, I believe that was the last fight on the main card, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, well then let's do this one other one here. A lot of talk going around about this this young fella here, Henry Cejudo. Have you heard of this fella?
No. Other than he's fighting Scott Jorgensen, I really haven't heard much about him.
Yeah, for the people listening here, Henry Cejudo versus Scott Jorgensen, the number 36 ranked flyweight, versus the number 15 UFC ranked flyweight. Henry Cejudo is 6-0 in MMA, and Scott Jorgensen is 15-9. Some fans have been waiting to see Henry Cejudo fight in the UFC for a little while now. Henry became an Olympic gold medalist at 21 years old, and he is the youngest American wrestler to win a gold medal. Scott Jorgensen is a tough fight for Henry's first UFC fight, but Jorgensen has been struggling in the UFC for the last couple of years with 2 wins and 5 losses out of his last 7 fights in UFC. So I don't know, man. It's you know, I remember Scott Jorgensen from way back, and you know, the guy was a monster and an animal for a while. But man, he is struggling as of late, as I mentioned there. What do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, Jorgensen's been struggling, but other than his last 2 losses, well, his last fight was actually a win, fight of the night. But the other 2, one was a headbutt, and the other one, I think he just underestimated his opponent. But other than those 2 fights, he's been fighting guys like Faber and Cruz and stuff like that. So I mean,
Barao, Eddie Wineland, Dominic Cruz. Yeah, I mean, you look at
it's not like his losses are losses to other than other than the 2, and the 1 is a headbutt. So I don't necessarily count that one because that should have been overturned.
Which one was that? The headbutt one?
What's his name? Oh God, Jussier Formiga in Brazil. It was a Brazilian in Brazil, and he got the head. He butted him, and then
recall that now. Yeah,
and then he took his back and got the submission.
Yeah, I think we spoke about that when it was happening live, and yeah, I do agree with you. That was a headbutt.
No, it was definitely a headbutt.
Yeah.
But you know, the Brazilian commission's like, no.
Well, that was that guy that we talk about often here. That I don't know if it's the same ref and judge who does scoring at times, but that Cardoso. Remember that fella? There's always controversy surrounding that fella's name.
Yeah. I don't remember his name. But yeah, they did. That was obviously a fight won because of the headbutt.
Yeah. But he's in a bad way. I mean, you know, when you're looking at his record, like I mentioned here, 2 wins and 5 losses in his last 7. That's typically not, doing you any favors when you're in the UFC. But then if you go back a little bit further to his first 2 fights in the UFC, he won those straight off the bat. Ken Stone and Jeff Correia. So when you look at that, he's 5-5 in the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, the losses that he has against, if you take away the ones against the Baraos and Wineland and stuff like that, then Faber, those are tough guys for anybody to beat. You've got Zach Makovsky, who is actually not bad. He lost to Jussier Formiga, but that was a good fight.
Lost to Eddie Wineland back at the UFC on FX3, Johnson versus McCall. And then Barao he lost to, UFC 143, Diaz versus Condon. But he did take Barao to a decision.
Mm-hmm. And his last fight he got fight of the night. He's always out there. He's game to fight. And that's I think the UFC looks for that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't think they'll cut him if he does, lose. But I don't know. Who do you like in this one? I mean, when I'm looking at this kid here, Henry Cejudo, I mean, the guy has 6-0, 3 KOs, 1 submission, 2 decisions.
Scotty's got a chin on him, though. So
what's that?
Scotty's got a chin on him, so.
Oh, yeah.
We got a reviewer comment. What do you guys think of the new heavyweight fighter, Johan Graves?
Oh, gosh.
Or Greaves.
I don't even know who he is. Is he, is he this new guy from Switzerland?
It sounds like it.
Yeah, I thought I saw, what's his name, Gustafsson mentioned him the other day. Have you? Did you hear that?
I'm not seeing anything on him.
Yeah, I just Googled him myself. I know that sounds familiar, and I could have swore that I saw Alexander Gustafsson come out the other day and say, hey, I've trained with this guy and so on and so forth, but I might be wrong about the fighter, but that just was the first thing that popped into my head when you mentioned that name there.
I mean, if Gustafsson's vouching for him, then he's probably a pretty good fighter. I haven't really heard of the guy.
I'm trying to look him up. I see he's listed on the ESPN site. Let me see if I can pull up any information on him here. How do you spell the fellow's name again?
He spelled it Johan Greaves, Greaves, but I don't think this is the right guy.
Yeah, I don't see it. Why? Oh, yeah,
Let me try.
That is spelled correctly. It's coming up when I do the search on YouTube, and it says MMA Fighters A to Z. UFC Fighters and more on ESPN, but when I go to the page, I don't see him on the page.
I don't know, bud. I haven't really heard anything about him, so I really can't comment on him.
Yeah, I wonder if he can still hear us, if he's still watching. Is that, in fact, the guy that Alexander Gustafsson was mentioning the other day? Yeah, I guess he didn't realize that our comments are a little delayed. When we do the show live, we don't see the comments straight away. There's a little bit of a delay here, so not that we're ignoring anybody, but it takes about a couple of minutes for the comments to get through to us.
Removed the comments, so.
Well,
I have no clue.
No
clue about the guy.
Yeah, I'm looking for the guy, and I don't see him listed anywhere here. See a guy, recording artist with that name. Somebody in London, England, I guess.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah. Sorry about that, my friend. We weren't ignoring you. We just didn't see the comments straight away. Like I said, we don't see them live. It takes a minute or two for the comments to get to us. Okay, so I guess we were actually talking about Henry Cejudo. Going back to looking at Henry Cejudo, there we were talking about Now he's
Jorgensen.
6-0, 3-1-2, 3 KOs, 1 submission, 2 decisions. But when you look at the talent that he's fought, it's all in, you know, much smaller MMA organizations. WFF, Gladiator Challenge, Legacy Fighting Championships, which I guess was his first moving up to, I don't know if you would call that a C-tier organization or what. How would you rate the Legacy Fighting Championship organization?
C maybe.
Yeah. But big step up to go, you know, from Legacy Fighting Championship up to the UFC and then take on Scott Jorgensen. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be a challenge for him. The guy's 27 years old, 5'4", 125 pounds.
Yeah, definitely want to go with my boy Jorgensen, but I just think, I mean, he's going up against Olympic gold medalist in wrestling, so
yeah,
I think Cejudo is probably gonna get the decision. I don't see Jorgensen getting finished, but anything's possible. I think it'll probably be a decision.
Yeah, I like Jorgensen as well, and I know he's your boy because isn't he from your area too?
No, he is a streamer. He streams Call of Duty on Twitch and Major League Gaming site, so the MLG site.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. I like the guy, I love him. I mean, I've been a fan of his ever since the WC, but you know, with the way things that are going for him, I don't know, man. Like I did give my breakdown here. Again, I'll run through it real quickly here. Another bout where odds makers have the outcome as a flip of the coin. Although Henry Cejudo is a slight favorite, fans are disagreeing with the odds makers again, and they highly favor Cejudo for the win. Even though Jorgensen is 3 inches taller, Cejudo has a 1.5 inch reach advantage. He's also 4 years younger. In addition to that, even though Scott Jorgensen has fought the much better opposition, he's also lost to the better opponents for the most part as well. So I think, being that Scott Jorgensen has been on a bit of a slide in recent history, and the Olympic wrestling pedigree that Cejudo is bringing into this fight here, I'm going to also go with Henry Cejudo to win by decision. So we're agreeing on that one there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I want to back Scotty, but I think I don't know, man. It's hard to see him beating Olympic gold medalists.
Yeah, I mean,
he's got some wrestling chops himself, but
the Olympic wrestlers, man, we see over and over again how well they do in the UFC.
Oh yeah.
Any other comments on that event or any other fights you want to speak about?
No, I mean, good luck getting $60 out of people.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the numbers wind up being on that. Okay, let's go into the final thoughts segment. We'll talk really briefly about a couple of bits of MMA news that are breaking. UFC 180 in Mexico. They've added some fighters to that card there. Have you been following that news on that card for the Mexico event?
No.
No? Okay. In addition to the champ Cain Velasquez versus Fabricio Verdum for the heavyweight title, they've added Jake Ellenberger versus Kelvin Gastelum. We were just talking about him on one of the other shows just recently. Norman Park versus Diego Sanchez. Dennis Bermudez versus Ricardo Lamas. And it looks like there's a couple of other fights that are going to be added to that. That's, I guess, going to be the tough Latin America finale.
It's a good card, man.
Yeah. Pretty interesting, huh?
Yeah, crazy. I mean, that's actually a good pay-per-view.
Yep.
I mean, they just don't seem to be. I don't know. This pay-per-view coming up, just I don't know. It doesn't even feel like a good Fox Sports 1 card.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, at best, it could be a Fox Sports 1 card, but I don't know. Like I said
More like
earlier,
a
man.
Fight Pass card.
Yeah. Well, the 180 event, that's going to be in
November 15th.
Yeah, November 15th in Mexico City. And
Yeah.
that one is going to be a pay-per-view event, and the prelims will be on Fox Sports 1, and there'll also be, I guess, one Fight Pass.
Yeah, it's UFC 180.
Hmm.
I'm not seeing the Fight Pass fight, but the Baszler's to be determined. It's showing, but Norman Park versus Diego Sanchez looks like a good one. Marcus Brimage versus Eric Perez. Eric Perez, he looks pretty good. He's from Mexico as well. Lorenzo Lamas versus Dennis Bermudez. Bermudez has been on his hair. And then you got Gastelum versus Ellenberger. Gastelum's been on a tear as well.
Yeah, I love that kid, man.
Yeah, he's definitely got some chops. He's one hell of a fighter, wrestler, whatever you want to call him. He gets the job done. That's all I know.
Cool.
He's ranked number 11 now. He'll probably be ranked number 8 after that fight.
Where is Ellenberger ranked at this point?
8. That's why I said he'll probably be ranked number 8 after that fight. He's good.
You think Gastelum is going to get the win on that one, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Gastelum, I mean, he has looked phenomenal since coming into the UFC.
Yeah, we might as well real briefly go over this here. Velasquez versus Verdum. I like Velasquez. How about you?
Yeah, definitely. I don't see Velasquez really getting himself put in a situation for a sub, and
And Verdum seems to be.
Verdum does have some striking, but
yeah, I mean he's not playing that same game that he was playing in the past, where he just drops to the mat looking to entice the other fighter to come down. Which I can't remember what fight that was where we saw that one fight where he just kept flopping to the ground. It just was ridiculous.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah, I do. I think it was his first fight back in the UFC.
Yeah, I remember Fabricio Verdum from way back in 2008 when he was fighting in the UFC. I believe he wasn't around when he was fighting in the UFC 2008 originally.
2008. Let's see. His last fight was UFC 90. And he lost to Junior Dos Santos. That was in 2008 by round 1 KO, TKO. And yeah.
I remember him from back in that day.
Huh?
I remember Fabricio Verdum from back in that day. I mean, I was on another Canadian site back at that time there where, we used to do betting and gambling on the fights like we do on the site here.
I like Verdum. Verdum, I mean.
All right, so how about Park and Sanchez?
Storm and Norman has been looking really good. Diego Sanchez's last fight was kind of a gift. I think he lost that fight.
Yeah.
I would actually go with Diego Sanchez on that one.
Oh, really?
I like him. I
love Diego. I've always been a fan of his. I never understood why people hated him so badly.
I think he'll put it on, and I think he's actually going to come out with the win list on that one.
Yeah, I haven't made my mind up on that one, but being that we're just doing an on-the-spot thing here, I'll go with Sanchez as well for now. And then Bermudez and Lamas, what do you think on that one?
Bermudez. I think he's just been looking phenomenal. I like Ricardo Lamas. I don't know Wenesday Lorenzo. Bermuda's he's just been on a tear, man. He's been looking really, really good.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And also the last one, let's just briefly talk about this one here. Brimage and Perez. What do you like in that one?
Which one was it?
Brimage versus Perez. Marcus Brimage, Eric Perez.
I'm gonna probably go with Eric Perez.
Yeah.
Eric Perez, he's an exciting fighter. Yeah, he lost to Brian Caraway and he's lost to Takeya Mizugaki, but he's got chops. He just needs to put it together a little bit more. I think he's gonna have enough to take out Marcus Brimage.
Yeah, I kind of like that kid, Marcus Brimage. I don't know.
I like him, but I like Perez too. He's an exciting fighter.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to see him get cut, but more than likely that's where he's headed if he loses that fight. He's got 2 losses in a row now, so not going to be good for him if he gets the another loss.
No.
And I'm thinking that more than likely Eric Perez will wind up getting the win there too. Okay, anything else about that one that you want to talk about, or are we done with that one as well?
Done with that.
Okay, any other news that you want to speak about? I keep seeing more news. We spoke about this briefly on the last show. Again, more rumors about Gina Carano, and now rumors about Cyborg coming to the UFC. Both of them wanting to fight at 135. Both of them wanting to fight Ronda Rousey straight away. I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you think they both deserve to jump right into the UFC and fight Ronda Rousey straight away?
I mean, if the division was a division like most other divisions in the UFC that have a lot of fighters that are have, I don't know how to say it, you know who they are. They're established fighters. Whereas the women's bantamweight division is still so new. I can see them giving a fight like Justino versus Rousey right away, or even Carano. I mean, do they deserve them? No, hell no. They need to fight once before, at least, before they get a shot at the title. But that's not how the UFC works, and we all know this.
I don't know. When I look at the women's bantamweight division in the UFC, I'm pretty impressed with the names that are on that list. The top 15.
In the women's bantamweight?
Yeah, I mean, there's some good name talent on there. Number 1, Kat Zingano. 2, Misha Tate. 3, Sarah McMahon. 4, Alexis Davis. 5, Sarah Kaufman. 6, Jessica Ai. 7, Liz Carmouche. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some good fighters, but I mean, in the UFC, I mean, there's not a lot of there's still a lot of people that really don't know much about the women's bantamweight division,
Well, you still got a lot of those boneheads out there that think, a women's place is in the kitchen and they shouldn't be fighting,
Exactly.
So,
but they do.
If you're dealing with that kind of chauvinistic attitude from individuals, they're never going to give women the, credence that they deserve as far as MMA fighters go.
Yeah, they put on good fights, and I think they belong there. It's definitely a division that is good, and it can only get better.
Yeah.
I like I said before, I love watching them fight. except for this last fight with that we were just talking about.
Lauren Murphy and was that the
Yeah,
last women's fight that we saw?
yeah, the last one we saw where it's pretty much just take down and stall
Yeah,
and let the opponent hit you.
McMahon and Murphy, I believe that was, right?
Yeah, McMahon and Murphy. And that was a horrible fight. I think Murphy actually got robbed on that one.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right. Anything else there? Any other news you can think of real quickly before we say goodbye?
Nothing big that I've seen, really, lately. I do want to mention that EA Sports UFC has released their third patch and put in Matt Brown, Mike Pyle, and Stipe Miocic in the game. And the game is way balanced, way more balanced now. It's, if you haven't gotten a copy yet, you should really pick one up and check it out for yourself. It's a good game.
That's kind of odd the way that they stagger and release the fighters like that. I mean, geez.
Well, see, with a game like this, you have to lock down the roster early. So they started making the game late 2012, early 2013. The roster had to get locked down, I believe, early in 2013. So a lot of the fighters that they didn't get in there, they didn't even have T.J. Dillashaw when the game was released, and he was a champ. So, but these fighters that they've been releasing, they've been giving them to us for free. So we've gotten, I believe it's 6 fighters so far, which would usually be a $15 DLC, something like that. But we've been getting them for free. So, I mean, EA's pulling out all the stops. I mean,
well, I know that you said
third patch. I've never seen a game supported like this game.
I know that you said that there wasn't much interest in the league and things like that, because we actually did start the league on our website, and after we put it up, a few games were played, and you had a couple of matches with the guys there, and then it pretty much died out. I don't know what the reason for that was, but we've seen
the game was unbalanced. I mean, it was if a game isn't balanced, people aren't gonna like it.
Yeah, but we've since that time there where you said to go ahead and shut it down, we went ahead and we hid those forums for those tournaments, but we can always bring it back in the future.
Yeah, I think with EA Sports UFC, hopefully more people will pick it up, but I just think that it's too little too late. I mean, that's the way it is with gaming now. If you don't get it right away and get people into it, I mean, people are they move from game to game. You just got Madden 15 that was dropped. That's a huge game. That's gonna take people away from it. You got Destiny coming up, which is a monster game. I mean, I can't wait for that game to come out. It looks phenomenal. There's just all these other games that people are waiting for coming out, and it's the hardcore guys like me and a lot of the other gamers that just love the UFC and love the UFC games. We'll keep playing it, but you're not going to see a huge uptick in people buying the game. It's sold over 600,000 copies. Every other UFC game has sold at least 1 million. So we'll see. I mean, they're selling like maybe 5,000 copies a week now, at the most. So it's not a good sign for the first one, but there's a lot of lack of content with the offline modes, and what EA didn't realize was how many people that buy these games are actually offline players. They like getting in there, and they like doing their own events.
Well, and
With the
also too,
UFC.
you want to play offline so you can actually learn how to use the fighters as well. And,
Well, that too, but I mean,
who wants
all
to go
these
online and
guys.
you don't know, you're not well versed with, certain fighters, and you're going online and you're fighting other people who, are whooping your ass. I mean, that takes all the fun out of a game when you're getting your ass whooped.
Well, and there's a lot of cheese too. I mean, the cheese is coming down now, but there's still. I mean, online in this type of game isn't for everyone. They buy the game and they want to fight it realistically, and they want the AI to fight realistically. They the offline gamers are the ones who buy this game and really are the ones that they need to focus on more. And in the second one, online, you can put 2 online modes on, and people are going to play online. And they'll continue to play online. But offline, you've got to take care of those guys, because those are the guys that are buying your game. And yeah,
Yep. I am not a gamer. I get too
yeah.
frustrated with it, and I can't see spending the kind of money. And I personally, I just don't have the time. To me, it's a waste of time to sit there and play games. I just got so many other things going on in life. I know when I was a gamer, I would sit there for, I'm not shitting you, 24 hours a day playing games with my brothers,
Yeah. And when I was a kid, I would do that. I'll play a game sometimes. At the most would be 6 hours at a time, and that is very rarely. I usually pop the game in for an hour and maybe 2 hours and play. And
And I'm one of
I'm
those people
watching
who once I get
Netflix or
into
something.
it, you get to that level of a game, you're like, damn it, I am not going to give up until I win,
Well, yeah, I'm an online gamer, so the EA Sports UFC still interests me. If I was strictly an offline gamer, yeah, I would definitely be getting bored with the game. There's just not much replay value on the offline side, except for now with the patch where they did tweak the AI to fight more realistically, so it's better for the offline players than what it was before.
Well,
But
I hope it does
just
make a
lack
bit of a
of modes.
comeback, because I would like to see some of those guys come back to the site, because we actually had some guys that were coming in from, the gaming league that you were starting. But, man, they kind of disappeared real quick. I don't know what happened to them. They were there for a while. We still got one guy that pops in and out, but he doesn't really say much of anything. He, says, every once in a while he'll pop in the thread and say, oh, yeah, and then pop out. But most of the gaming guys, they were around for a little bit, and then as soon as it's, like you conveyed to me, as soon as it seemed like, the UFC EA Sports thing wasn't panning out as well as people liked it to, as far as the leagues go, that pretty much was the end of those fellas. But it would be nice to see it make a comeback and have those guys come back to the site. All right, let's go ahead and wrap things up here, buddy. I guess what we'll do is we'll do a post-event discussion show on Sunday. If you're available for that, we'll do it on Sunday as well. And I don't think there's anything else that's going to happen in between now and then. I'm going to be busy for the next day or so, so you probably won't see a whole lot of me.
Okay.
But thanks for showing up. Appreciate it, buddy, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Rich. You take it easy, bud.
You too, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye.